Good evening, namaste, or adab. Welcome to our special episode of Conversations Unplugged Guts and Glory Chronicles. Today, we have gathered here to honor and celebrate the indomitable spirit, unparalleled courage, and unwavering dedication of the brave soldiers of the Indian Army. Indian Army Day is not just a day of remembrance, it is a solemn reminder of the sacrifices made to uphold our nation's sovereignty and security. And in this special live, we have a special guest today. A man who is known for his decisions, a man who is known for his words, and a man who calls himself Soldier for Life. Today we have with us Lieutenant General Kamaljeet Singh Dhillon. Lieutenant General Kamaljeet Singh Dhillon, he holds Param Vashisht Seva Medal, Uttam Yudh Seva Medal, Yudh Seva Medal, Vishisht Seva Medal, and was commissioned into 4th Battalion, the Rajputana Rifles, in December 1983. During his service, spanning almost 4 decades, he has held various appointments in combat zones and senior administrative capacity in the Indian Army. An alumni of National Defense Academy, he has attended prestigious National Defense College course, Senior Officers course at Center at Superior Studies of National Defense, Madrid, Spain, and Senior Executives course on Transnational Security Cooperation at Asia Pacific Center for Security Studies, Honolulu, Hawaii, USA. He has served a total of 8 tenures in counterinsurgency, counter-terrorism operational areas, of which 6 in Kashmir Valley and tenure each in Jammu region and Manipur in Northeast. He has the distinction of commanding the always active in operations, 15 Corps, Chinar Corps, responsible for military operations in the line of control and within the Kashmir Valley during the most challenging environment of Pulwama IED blast, Balakot airstrikes, and abrogation of Article 370 and 35A. His peace initiatives in Kashmir Valley like Operation Ma, Talim Se Tarakki, Hum Saya Hai Hum, Carrier Patrol, Super 30 and Super 50 ensured more than 50 young Kashmiri boys who had joined terrorism returned home willingly and weaned away young Kashmiri boys from terrorism and drugs and brought them into national mainstream. He is MSc, MPhil, and PhD. He is presently the chairperson, Board of Governors, appointed by the Honorable President of India. He was Director General Defense Intelligence Agency under the Chief of Defense Staff, responsible for international military cooperation and strategic intelligence till he superannuated from service on 31st January 2022. Post his superannuation, he has authored first book of his life, a national bestseller already, Kitne Gazi Aaye, Kitne Gazi Gaye. He's a motivational speaker and leadership guide at various universities, colleges, schools, and TEDx Josh Talks. Let's welcome Lieutenant General KJS Tiny. Good evening, sir. Welcome to our show. An honor and a privilege for us that you are here on our platform today.
Good evening, ma'am, and first of all, good evening to all your viewers of Story Scrapers, and Jai Hind, and wishing a very happy Army Day to all Indians who are listening to this conversation, and all the viewers. Wish you all the very best. Have a great day. Have a great year ahead, and your army is there to protect you always and every time and everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, and a very happy Indian Army Day to you as well. You have served the nation, you have served it with purpose, you have served it with courage, and for so many years. That's really a big thing and a great honor for all of us as civilians. Thank you so much, sir, for being a part of the Indian Army.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
So, as we proceed this live, and this live is especially for the Indian Army Day, my first question is that why do we celebrate Indian Army Day? Because everyone needs to know the history, the background of this special day, and also what significance does it hold for the armed forces as well as for the country as a whole.
Thank you, ma'am. Like in everyone's life, in every individual's life, the days, the anniversaries have a very special significance. They remind us of some good events which have happened in our life, at times some sad events also. So, Indian Army Day is the day that is 15th of January. It goes back to 15th of January 1949, exactly
Right,
17 months after we attained independence on 15th of August 1947.
right,
On 15th January 1949, some of your viewers may not be aware that for these 17 months, Indian Army did not have. In independent India, the Indian Army did not have an Indian commander-in-chief. Indian Army continued to have a British officer, General Butcher,
okay,
who was the commander-in-chief of Indian Army till 15th of January 1949, when then General F.M. K.M. Karyappa was appointed as the commander-in-chief. Later on, General Karyappa was made the field marshal. So for 17 months, we were without an Indian chief, so to say. So
right.
this date, 15th of January, holds a special significance for the Indian Army that we were being led by an Indian officer from that day onwards. And similarly, a nation had an Indian officer as the commander-in-chief of their army. So it's a great day for the army, it's a great day for the nation, and that's how Indian Army celebrates 15th of January as Army Day.
Absolutely, sir. It's an honor for us, sir, and a very big thing for all of us that we got to know, and to we had so many soldiers around us who are saving our lives, who are protecting our country, and day in and day night, they are there at the borders, they are there in the areas which they really need them. So, thanks to all of them for being such an integral part of our nation, of our lives. And you joined Indian Army long back, 40 years you have spent in Indian Army. And you were determined to join the armed forces in spite of your father's wishes and expectations. So, what was the inspiration behind it?
Ma'am, I joined, or rather, I joined NDA on 4th of January 1980. That's almost 45 years ago.
Yeah,
And I am just about 62 years of age. So, as a young 17-year-old boy, I joined the National Defense Academy, 3 years in NDA, then 1 year in Indian Military Academy. Then I got commissioned. And thereafterwards, about 39, 40 years of service. Ma'am, as you said, my father is a civil engineer, but he did not want me to join the army. I had
right,
appeared for NDA without his knowledge. I had gone for the SSB interview without his knowledge, medical. And subsequently, when the merit list was out and the call letter came to join NDA, I needed that call letter needed some signatures of the dad. So I had to break it to him. So when
right,
I asked him to sign on those papers, he says, "Oh, you are not joining the army." He had a very flourishing business. He says, "You join me in business." But I was determined because I was staying with my grandmother, Naniji, and my Mamajis. My elder Mamaji was in the army. My younger Mamaji was in BSF. So I grew up seeing them wearing uniform every day. So
right, right,
that consciously or subconsciously motivated me to join the army. And as is common in the northern part of the country, especially Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Himachal, every household has at least one soldier serving or veteran. And also,
right.
when on the border villages, the army comes for the deployment and exercises and wars. So that looking at a soldier, looking at his bearing, looking at the way he talks, where he walks, that is a motivation enough. And I would, through your page and this live, I would like to tell the youngsters today, the boys and girls both, there is no better job or there is no better profession than the defense forces of India. Full of honor,
That's
full of grit, full of glory. And you serve with honor. And when you retire, even post retirement, you have all the glory showered by the citizens of this great country.
That's true, sir. That's true. And sir, like you said that you you just mentioned about the youngsters who want to join the Indian Army. My next question was actually that only. That you receive so many DMs every day in hundreds of number, who are there asking you about what should they transform themselves into to join the Indian Army. They are confused about the career choice. They are confused. They doubt their caliber also. So I wanted to ask you, what message do you have for them, those who are aspiring, those who want to join Indian Army, and especially the women also? What is the a military officer's role there in the army? What is a women's officer role?
Thank you, ma'am. Two questions combined together. I'll take one by one. First is, how should a youngster, boy or girl alike, whether you are preparing for an career as an army officer or you are wanting to join as other ranks or Agniveers or Jawans, there is a lot of confusion amongst the boys and the girls, because I get a lot of direct messages in my inbox on Twitter, on Insta, on Facebook. People want to ask me, sir, SSB में क्या होता है? Sir, medical में क्या होता है?
Right.
My thing is, in the army, first, just concentrate on your immediate aim. Written is the first and foremost thing. I'm talking about the officer cadre now. If you're wanting to
Right.
join in NDA or IMA or OTA, just concentrate on the written part. And the written exam is more or less the same syllabus as the corresponding class in which you are studying. For NDA, the most of the syllabus is equivalent to the +2 syllabus or 12th class. And for IMA and OTA, it is as if you are in graduation. Few topics are different. So do not confuse yourself with SSB and medical till you have cleared the written exam. Concentrate on the immediate aim. जो अर्जुन को मछली की आंख दिखती थी ना, उस तरह आपको इस वक्त सिर्फ रिटन एग्जाम की तैयारी और रिटन एग्जाम में पास होना और अच्छे मार्क्स से पास होना, क्योंकि the marks which you obtain in written ultimately add up to your merit. So if you have to be high in the merit to be called to join, your written exam must be good. So that is my first lesson to them. Don't divert your energies on anything other than what is your immediate aim. Once you have cleared the written, you will get adequate time, 2 to 3 months, to prepare for your SSB. And physical fitness, you don't have to appear for NDA to be physically fit. You have to be physically fit anyway.
Right.
I see a lot of young boys and girls obese these days. That's not a very good sign. At your age, 15 years to 25 years, you should be absolutely chiseled, absolutely physically fit. You should be walking straight. You should be talking absolutely perfectly in good manners. That goes without saying. So you don't have to bother about that. That has to be continuous. So this is my lesson. And to the girls who want to join the Indian Army or the Defense Forces, or even the girls who are wanting to marry an army man, it is very important that you must have a mental makeup to lead a life of glory, but it comes with its own some sort of limitations. There are issues where you might feel कि ये मेरे लिए नहीं है, वो मेरे लिए नहीं. You have chosen this profession. You have chosen this husband. So you must understand, you respect you are getting. There will be separations, there will be long separations, there will be education of children issues, there will be field postings, there will be hard times. So that's the way this job is. So you must
Absolutely.
look at it from the wholesome point of view. And one thing which I want to tell anyone who wants to join, the army or the defense forces will make sure you learn English. They will make sure you learn good table manners. They'll make sure you can run faster. They'll make sure your fat is gone or your flab is gone. They'll make sure you become a perfect gentleman as a young captain, which you look otherwise. Only two things they can't change. That is honesty and integrity. That is what you must have. Rest, everything will fall in place during training. So don't bother for other things. Just maintain that you be an honest man. Don't tell lies. Don't fake. When you face an SSB, if you don't know an answer, say it straight. श्रीमान मुझे नहीं आता है.
Right.
आप दूसरा पूछ सकते हैं. So this is just a bit of thing I thought I must share with the youngsters.
Absolutely, sir. The basic thing is the honesty and integrity. And of course, the rest of the things, they get polished once a person joins army. So your personality gets polished later on, but this is something which is very, very important. So we have a question here from Yuvraj Pratap Singh, who's asking that what are the qualities which are essential to become an officer in Rajputana?
See, again, in my previous question, I said two things. One is the
Yeah.
qualities which you should have as a youngster is honesty and integrity. And second thing I told is immediate aim you must focus on. First, to become, you clear your written, then SSB, then medical, then merit, then joining, then NDA, then IMA. And when it comes to choice of arms, which arm you want to join, which regiment you want to join, that would happen at least 5.5 to 6 years from today if you're going through NDA. So at that time, you can opt for Rajputana Rifles, you can opt for any other regiment, Armored Corps, Engineers, Signals, or whatever. So as of today, the qualities required to become an officer are honesty and integrity, and then rest of the test, written, SSB, medical. Choice of arm, which regiment you want to volunteer to join, would come at least 5.5 years from today. So concentrate on immediate aim, machli ki aankh, which I had told about Arjun. So be an
Absolutely.
Arjun, be a warrior, be a soldier, be a winner.
And
And I'm so
as
happy
you have,
people are asking questions. We
yeah.
must.
And so, as you mentioned, that army culture is something that transforms the soldier into a man who respects not just his fellow being, the fellow army men, but also the people and the animals too. And here I have a very beautiful picture which I wanted to share with the audience. And here,
Yeah.
where you are saluting a dog who maybe was there on duty at that time and assisting the other army men, and this is such a heartening picture which was clicked and which went viral. And please share this picture, the incident behind this picture as well.
And thank you, ma'am, for sharing this picture. I request you if you can keep it on, because this
Yeah, sure.
picture has got so many ingredients in this picture. Firstly, this picture was taken at Shri Amarnath Ji cave, the first day of puja when the Amarnath Ji cave opened up for Shraddhalus in year 2019, darshan ke liye. So as a corps commander and the governor, they do the first Pratham Puja as it is called. So firstly, this place is very holy in this picture. Second is I had reached little early and I was checking the security arrangements when I saw this dog on his two hind legs and standing like this. So I asked the handler, I said, what is he doing? The handler told me, sir, ये आपको salute कर रहा है.
Okay.
The second thing which is very pertinent about this picture is when a soldier salutes you, it's your responsibility and duty that salute must always be returned. So, as far as I'm
Right.
concerned, he is my buddy. He is a soldier on four legs. So, when he saluted, I got down on my knees. I saluted him back. That is the second lesson in this picture. A salute must always be returned. Anyone wishing you namaskar, sat sri akal, good morning, good evening, you must always return that, sort of respect which he's showing you.
Yes,
And the
yes,
third
that's
thing in the picture was, after, like I said earlier, for me, it does not matter. I've had incidents where dogs have saved my life. I've had incidents where my buddy soldier has saved my life. So for me, my buddy or for my buddy, me, is equally important as the dog because he is also my buddy. He is also part of my team. And the dog got the hits and he saved my life twice. So this is the
right.
third thing. Fourth and most important part of the picture is it shows the respect a soldier has for people around him, the fellows around him, the environment around him. You see the cantonments, they're so green, they're so clean.
Yes,
That that is from the respect a soldier has for environment. You see the way he dresses up. That is the respect he gives to the uniform. So this picture has got so many emotions combined together, so many soldierly qualities combined together. I think each and every Indian must look at this picture and say, ये सब qualities मेरे में आ जाएं तो बस. I, I,
that's
I,
true.
would, I would urge all the youngsters watching. You can learn a lot from anything which you see. And this picture is just one example. And thank you for sharing it, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for sharing this incident. And of course, you are absolutely right when it comes to a person who is there in the army, one can lay down his life also for his paltan ki izzat also. So I wanted to know about that also, how important it is for a soldier paltan ki izzat, that wo apni jaan bhi laga dete hain uske liye.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, today I was listening to the Chief of Army Staff, and he was speaking on the occasion of the Army Day, and he used this word कि सोल्जर अपनी पलटन की इज्जत के लिए लड़ता है. मैम, कॉमन एक बहुत धारणा है या एक बिलीफ है कि सोल्जर और एवरीवन फाइट्स फॉर द नेशन. यस, वी डू फाइट फॉर द नेशन, वी गिव आवर लाइव्स फॉर द नेशन. लेकिन जब लड़ाई होती है, जब ग्राउंड के ऊपर जब गोलियां चल रही हैं, देन दैट जवान इज डूइंग एवरीथिंग फॉर हिज पलटन की इज्जत. जिस पलटन में, जिस रेजिमेंट में, जिस बटालियन का वो हिस्सा है, वो उसकी इज्जत के लिए लड़ रहा है. वो खानदानी है, उसके पुरखों के लिए. माय यूनिट फॉर राजरीफ व्हिच यू रेफर टू इज मोर देन 200 इयर्स ओल्ड. मैं अगर कोई गलत काम करूंगा तो लोग बोलेंगे फॉर राजरीफ का 200 साल का इतिहास है, देखो इसने क्या किया. इट्स लाइक इन विलेजेस समवन सिंह, तेरा दादा नंबरदार था, सरपंच था, उसने ये किया था और तू क्या कर दिया. सो इट इज खानदान की इज्जत एंड पलटन की इज्जत इज द सेम थिंग. And now to qualify this statement, कि everyone fights for the Paltan की इज्जत. When you fight for the Paltan, you fight for the army. When you fight for the army, you fight for the nation. So immediate aim, जैसे मैंने पहले सवाल के जवाब में बोला, immediate aim is every soldier fights and dies for the इज्जत of his Paltan. And it's a very important thing. It's a very, very important thing. It's in our DNA. It's an honor code. Paltan की इज्जत is an honor code, is part of our DNA.
Absolutely, sir. You really rightly put it up in front of us कि बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हम कैसे अपने आप को एसोसिएट करते हैं अपनी पलटन से, और इन टर्न हम एसोसिएट उसे करते हैं अपने देश से, अपने लोगों के साथ. So this is something very important and a very beautiful and a nice message you have shared with us, and something that we have now come to know about the soldiers कि उनके दिल में actually क्या होता है. And otherwise जब हम soldiers को देखते हैं, we think that they are very strong, they are, you know, very emotionally, mentally they are very strong. बट कहीं ना कहीं उस स्ट्रेंथ के पीछे किसी और की भी स्ट्रेंथ है, दैट इज देयर फैमिलीज who are always ready to, you know, share the life with them, share the incident, share the mishap, share everything with them. Back home अगर जवान कहीं पे सरहद पे है तो पीछे उसकी फैमिली है जो उसे सपोर्ट कर रही है, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं वो भी एक तरह की जंग लड़ रही है अपने आप के साथ, अपनी सोच के साथ और अपने ख्यालों के साथ. So I wanted to know about that also, that how important is a family for the soldier, and how does this family become so strong? Like they are ready to, you know, dedicate their lives, they are ready to give everything for the nation, even their loved one who is there at the border. वो कैसे इतना एकदम अपने आप को स्ट्रॉन्ग बनाते हैं, कैसे स्ट्रॉन्ग बनते हैं वो?
थैंक यू मैम. आपने most of the question you answered because you were so emotional while asking this question and you related to the question. मैम, एक सोल्जर के लिए ना, जैसे आपने बात की, बहुत देखने में लंबा चौड़ा तगड़ा, बड़ी मूछें, रौबदार आवाज, चौड़ी छाती, स्टैंडिंग स्ट्रेट, हाथ में हथियार. एक इमेज जो है ना, इमेज है ऑफ करेज, बोल्डनेस, स्ट्रेंथ, ब्रेवरी. इस सब के पीछे ना जो चीज हम भूल जाते हैं, वो भी एक ह्यूमन है. ही इज अ पर्सन हु हैज अ फैमिली, हु हैज अ parents, aging parents, who has brother, sister, who has a wife, who, and if there is a lady officer or lady soldier, who has a husband and the children. तो मैम ये जो इमोशंस जो आपने व्यक्त किए ना, ये बहुत बहुत जरूरी है. सोल्जर के लिए जो परिवार की सपोर्ट है वो बहुत जरूरी. जब बॉर्डर के ऊपर है, 3 महीने, 4 महीने, 6 महीने आप घर नहीं गए हो, घर में छोटी छोटी दिक्कतें आती है. बच्चों के मार्क्स कम आते हैं किसी क्लास टेस्ट में या किसी में, नो, कोई वॉशरूम की टैप लीक कर रही है, कोई बिजली की तार जल गई है. वो सब चीजें जो रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में एक औरत, इट टेक्स फॉर ग्रांटेड कि हाँ ठीक है, मैं हस्बैंड अपने आप किसी को फोन करेंगे, वो आएगा, वो उसको ठीक कर देगा. लेकिन जो औरत अकेले घर में रह रही है, बच्चों को पढ़ा रही है, पाल रही है, हो सकता है कि बुजुर्ग माँ बाप है, उनका भी ध्यान रख रही है, और उसके साथ साथ सोल्जर जो बॉर्डर पे ड्यूटी दे रहा है, मैम उसके लिए तो गोली तब चलती है जब गोली एक्चुअल में चलती है. लेकिन
Right.
वाइफ के लिए घर में या फैमिली के लिए घर में गोली तब चलती है जब भी कभी फोन की घंटी बजती है. Every time the phone rings, the family members or soldiers feel ये खबर आई. वो मैम लिविंग अंडर द कॉन्स्टेंट फियर ऑफ दैट खबर और बुरी खबर और द बैड न्यूज. वो जो है ना सोल्जर्स की फैमिलीज को इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग बना देती है कि वो फिर किसी भी हालात से जूझने के लिए, किसी भी हालात का सामना करने के लिए तैयार हैं. लेकिन वो अपने हस्बैंड को कभी नहीं बोलेगी कि घर में ये प्रॉब्लम है, वो है. She allows the husband to do his duty with 100% commitment. बिना
Right.
ये सोचे हुए कि मेरे घर की क्या प्रॉब्लम्स है. और इसलिए आई ऑलवेज से द मिलिट्री वाइव्स आर द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट वुमेन ऑन दिस प्लेनेट.
बिल्कुल.
जितनी वो स्ट्रॉन्ग हैं, अपनी पर्सनल एग्जांपल मैं दे सकता हूँ, लेकिन जितनी फैमिली स्ट्रॉन्ग हैं, जितना वो एक सोल्जर को सपोर्ट करते हैं, अगर उतना सपोर्ट हर सिटीजन उसका 1% भी करे, तो दिस इंडियन आर्मी और द इंडियन डिफेंस फोर्सेस will do everything and anything for the country. They're already doing it.
Yeah.
We have wonderful citizens who respect the Indian Army, who love Indian Army or defense forces, and the type of messages on social media which we get. Thank you everyone for that. And this special event on the Army Day, I would like to actually thank the citizens, the women, the men, the boys, the girls, for supporting your army, for doing what they're doing. And they have never let you down. They will not let you down.
Right, absolutely right, sir. We are really indebted to all the soldiers and, of course, their families behind. They are the forces behind the forces. So, and one more thing, sir, as you just mentioned that something like this, the same kind of incident, like the ringing of the bell and coming a news which could be in a bad news, happened in your family also, and it happened twice. So, I would like you to share one incident of that also.
Yes, ma'am. Like you said in the introduction, most of the time, most of my life, I have been in Kashmir. And I have been in Kashmir when the terrorism started, starting with 1988, 89, 90. And I have been continuously going back there in different ranks and appointments. And these two incidents happened. First time I was a major. And my wife saw the news on the television, the ticker, Major KJS Singh, Rashtriya Rifles, killed in Lolab, Kashmir. Now, I was in Rashtriya Rifles. My name is KJS Singh. I was posted in Lolab. And that time, those days were of no mobiles. She had no way of confirming the news.
Right.
No, it was a mistaken identity. There was a very brave soldier in the neighboring battalion, Major KG Singh, Kamal Gulzar Singh, a very excellent officer, very brave officer. Unfortunately, he had, made the supreme sacrifice. But notwithstanding that, किसी ने तो खोया है. This is what my wife told later. When she was asked, how do you feel? Your husband is alive. She said, किसी ने तो खोया है. And that time she was 8 months pregnant. Whole night she kept the news with her. Next morning, she was staying with her parents, old parent. She did not break the news to them. She hid the newspaper also because she realized newspaper में भी news आएगी. So that is the strength our families have. And second time I was a colonel. I was a commanding officer in Kashmir again. And again the news came at 11 o'clock in the night on television. Colonel KJ Singh killed in Jammu and Kashmir. Now this again, she had a daughter 3 years old. She had a son about 7, 8 years old with 2 children in her lap. The whole night she was thinking of what will I do? How will my future go? What will I'll handle my children? And that station, since she was a commanding officer's wife, the other officers, their wives also staying, Jawan's wives, DHL's wives, in the same station near Ranikhet. And she knew that in the morning, people will come to console her, the ladies will come home. At 6 o'clock, in spite of all this news, at 6 o'clock, she gets up, washes her face, combs her hair, puts on a decent dress. Now, why did she do it? She was a commanding officer's wife, and commanding officer is like a godfather in the unit. Fatherly figure होता है. Commanding officer के हुक्म पे वो 800, 1000 या 1200 जवान अपनी जान की परवाह किए बगैर जान की बाजी लगा देते हैं. तो commanding officer की wife, she is not in uniform, she is not getting paid, she is not under army law, शी इज नॉट आर्मी गर्ल, बट जिम्मेदारी जो थी ना कमांडिंग ऑफिसर की वाइफ, शी washed her face, she combed her hair, she wore a decent dress because she did not want to be seen as a shattered woman by other women whose husbands were still in the Kashmir Valley.
Right,
तो ये
right.
जिम्मेदारी जो है ना, ये जिम्मेदारी, इसको लफ्जों में बयान नहीं किया जा सकता. This can only be felt. A lady who lost her husband, who's got 2 small children, is ready to face the world with the same dignity. कि मैं कमांडिंग ऑफिसर की वाइफ हूं और मैं ऐसे नहीं देखूंगी बेहाल. कमांडिंग ऑफिसर की वाइफ बेहाल नहीं हो सकती. हम अगर हमारी वाइफ्स बेहाल नहीं हो सकती तो हम कैसे हो जाएंगे? दिस इज द स्टोरी ऑफ एवरी सोल्जर, नॉट ओनली माई इंडिविजुअल सोल्जर, माई सेल्फ. एक सोल्जर का मैम जो फैमिली का सपोर्ट है ना, वो हमारे को 100 गुना ज्यादा प्रोडक्शन या आउटपुट के लिए प्रेरित करता है. एंड वी आर इंडेटेड टू देयर सपोर्ट and all the citizens of the country.
That's true, sir. And we bow to all the strong women out there who are dedicating, who are sacrificing their lives, their families, their happiness, and everything there just for the service of the nation. Because their husbands, their sons, their partners, they are there at the border serving our nation, and they are also doing the same back home as well. So it's a very big thing for us. And so, if we talk about army and if we talk about the stress, it's not that the soldier is not having any kind of stress or not having any kind of issues or challenges or problems. They also face so many problems. But if I talk about you, even after retirement, we see you in high spirits. And before that, also, you were always been in high spirits. So, how do you, all soldiers, how do you, as an officer, you keep your soldiers motivated? How do they themselves keep themselves motivated? How do you all do that? There's so much of stress, so much of pressure, and so many things are going on around you when you are there at the service. So how do you keep yourself motivated during that?
Thank you, ma'am. A very good question, and I think probably ये सवाल किसी ने पहली बार ही पूछा है कि इतना लंबा कैरियर, अभी हम बात कर रहे थे 45 साल, 45 years, उसमें तो मोटिवेशन रहना बहुत जरूरी है because you have a duty to do.
Right.
You have a job to do. You cannot let down your platoon, you cannot let down your army, you cannot let down your nation. लेकिन रिटायरमेंट के बाद भी मैं आज भी अगर मैं किसी दुकानदार से कुछ चीज खरीदता हूँ या पेमेंट करता हूँ कुछ भी, मेरे दिमाग में हमेशा एक बात रहती है कि इसको यह नहीं लगना चाहिए कि ये सोल्जर अपनी ईमानदारी से नहीं कर रहा है. बिकॉज मुझे ये चिंता नहीं है कि कोई ये सोचेगा केजीएस ढिल्लों ने ये बेईमानी की. वो सोचेगा कि एक फौज के अफसर ने ये बेईमानी की, और जो फौज जिसने मुझे मां बन के पाला बड़ा किया, उसके नाम के ऊपर लांछन मैं नहीं लगने दूंगा. फॉर मी इंडियन आर्मी इज मदर, एंड मदर के नाम पे लांछन लगने के लिए आई एम वेरी श्योर ऑल योर व्यूअर्स nobody would like it and I won't like it. And now उसको उसकी सेवा करने के लिए, देश की सेवा, पलटन की, आर्मी की, अपने आप को 45 साल 50 साल अभी और भी है, इतने सालों तक मोटिवेटेड रखना. yes, I will not say it's difficult, I will not say it cannot happen, I will only say ये एक ऑनर कोड या डीएनए बन जाता है. लेकिन 3 चीज जो बहुत जरूरी हैं to keep a soldier motivated. One is his confidence in his weapon. जो आपका हथियार है, जैसे हथियार मीन्स हथ का यार, जिसके हाथ में है उसका यार है, उसका दोस्त है. तो जो आपका हथियार है, it must not ever let you down. जैसे दोस्ती में गिले शिकवे हो सकते हैं लेकिन दगा नहीं हो सकता. तो जो आपका बेस्ट वेपन है, जो आपका बेस्ट बडी है, जो आपका वेपन, that weapon must perform to optimum. तो आपका मोरल हाई रहेगा क्योंकि मेरा हथियार मुझे धोखा नहीं देगा, मेरा हथियार दुश्मन के वेपन से अच्छा है.
Right.
फर्स्ट इज कॉन्फिडेंस इन योर वेपन, सेकंड इज कॉन्फिडेंस इन योर बॉडी. जो आपके साथ कंधे से कंधा जोड़ के बैठा हुआ है, जहाँ लेटा हुआ है, जहाँ चल रहा है, आपको ये विश्वास रहना चाहिए कि वो मुझे छोड़कर भाग नहीं जाएगा. और बॉडी को ये विश्वास होता है कि मेरा बॉडी मुझे छोड़कर भाग नहीं जाएगा. हम दोनों आपने बात की स्ट्रेस की, स्ट्रेस भी रहती है, फियर भी रहता है, सब ये these are all human behaviors. They are there in soldiers also. लेकिन how early you overcome this is what I am quantifying. आपके बॉडी का आप में विश्वास, मेरा बॉडी में विश्वास, वो हमारे मोराल को और हाई करता है, स्ट्रेस को डाउन करता है, फियर को डाउन करता है. First is confidence in a weapon, second is confidence in a body, and third and probably the most important is confidence in your leader, confidence in your commander. कि मेरे कमांडर ने ऐसी प्लानिंग की है, ऐसी तजवीज़ बनाई है कि हम जीतेंगे. So these three things combined together, they take your motivation levels through the roof. और जो मोटिवेशन है वो इन तीन चीजों से 40-50 तो क्या 100 साल तक भी रह सकती है, अगर आपका हथियार ठीक है, आपका बॉडी ठीक है, आपका कमांडर ठीक है. So that puts an added responsibility on the commanders. And when I say commanders, it's not necessarily officers. A havaldar, section commander, a naib subedar, platoon commander, a subedar saab, a young captain, young major, they are the commanders that the fighting, the cutting edge level. तो वो हवलदार साहब कितनी काबिलियत से अपने 10 बंदों को लीड करता है, उन 10 बंदों का मोरल, मोटिवेशन उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. Thanks for asking this question. Very close to my heart.
Thank you so much for answering it also, sir. And there is one more question which has come up from the audience. That is Kavya Manjusha. She's asking that what do you miss the most about your time in the army? And what was your transition to civilian life like after leaving the army?
Thank you, Kavya Manjusha, for asking the question. What I miss the most, if I can define most, I miss everything about the army. I miss getting up early in the morning. I miss going for a morning exercise. I miss wearing uniform. I miss rushing to my office. I miss staying with my jawans, talking to them, उनके बारे में पूछना, उनके परिवार के बारे में पूछना, उनकी life के बारे में. I miss going out for operations. I miss coming under fire, and I miss killing the terrorist. And practically, I miss everything which army had to offer. And transition, as you said, yes, transition from uniform to civil clothes has happened. The soldier stays. As ma'am said in the beginning, when my book, Kitne Ghazi Aaye, Kitne Ghazi Gaye, it got the Crosswords Book Awards, the most popular book in non-fiction section. And I was told to give a acceptance speech. Having said all that, last words were, thank you for giving this award. I continue to be a soldier and not an author. I would like to be identified as a soldier who can write a bit, not as a writer who fought a bit. So everything I miss. Thank you, Manju, for asking this question. I think ये life इतनी खूबसूरत थी ना, that there is no match outside that walls of cantonment or the walls of the garrison. वहाँ पे एक परिवार है, वहाँ पे एक आपको people teach you, people coach you, people mold you, people go with you, people live with you, people die with you.
Right.
वो एक परिवार था. वो the second thing is उसकी कमी होती नहीं है, क्योंकि we are still in touch. Today whole day on that group we were discussing something. It's not that बात गई और बात गई. We remain in touch. तीन generations तक we remain in touch.
Yeah.
So we are a family out there.
And sir, as you have just mentioned about the Crosswords Award, I have a beautiful video which I would like to share with the audience as well, so that they can see that behind a man there is a woman, behind a man there are generations, and behind a man's success there are emotions as well. So let's watch this video also.
It's a debut book, and it's a story of a 3-year-old boy who loses his mother trying to save her husband from a wild animal. It's a story of a grandmother who picks up this 3-year-old boy, makes him into a soldier. It's a story of a wife who supports this soldier and raises his family. It's a story of a daughter and a son who support their father, whatever he's doing on the field. So this book and this award I dedicated to the 4 most beautiful women over 4 generations in my life. My mother, my grandmother, my wife, my daughter, and of course our son. And to all the soldiers who laid down their lives in the line of duty, made the supreme sacrifice, I salute their honor with prayer on my lips and pride in my heart. I dedicated this award to them. In the end, thank you, Crossword, for this award. I continue to be a soldier, not an author. Thank you.
That is really beautiful, sir.
Thank you,
And
man.
as you
Thank you.
said, that you want to be called a soldier for all your life. So this is really heartening for us and an honor for us that you are a soldier in our Indian Army and you have made us proud always.
Thank you, ma'am.
And
And I must compliment you and your team and your page, Story Scrapers, for doing some wonderful research. I think
thank you.
जिसको कहते हैं मैं भी भावुक हो रहा हूँ. I'm getting emotional. Thank you, and I think very, very good research work.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure that we have been associated with you and we are talking to you today. And we have got an opportunity to share all these things with our viewers, with our audience also, so that everyone can know that behind a soldier, what is there behind a soldier, the emotions that they carry, the strength that they carry, the bravery that they carry. And there are so many other things also, which we are thankful to them for. And so, like, you have seen death very closely in your childhood. You lost your mother at a very young age. You were just 3 years old when you lost her. You lost your brother also. And there were some other dreadful situations also during while countering terrorism. Because we all know that bullets, they have no names at all. So it can hit anyone anytime. So nowadays, we see so many youngsters who don't value their life. We see so many suicidal cases also, where young children, young adults, they are just, at the, just because of small emotion or small loss or small, you can say, anything bad happening in their life, they are losing their life, they are taking risk with their lives also. So what message do you want to give to this generation?
Uh, Thank you again, ma'am. First of all, this life, the human life, इसमें जन्म लेना ही एक बहुत बड़ी बात है. So it's a beautiful life, it's a beautiful world. Like we're just talking, small incidents will happen, and that will make you a better human being. Failures are a stepping stone for success. Failures will always happen. There is no successful man in this world who has not failed. Earlier you fail, better learner you are. So take the failure on the chin. Accept the failure like a man and accept the success like a gentleman. So if there is a failure, if there is a situation, if there is emotional distress, don't just give up. Try to handle it, try to face it. Talk to your friends, talk to your parents, talk to your teachers, talk to your colleagues, talk to people who can assist. Come out of it, come out stronger. Giving up is never an answer. Be a soldier citizen. Giving up is not an option at all on the table we are discussing. We are discussing how to handle a situation which you feel is stressful, which you feel emotionally drained out. And I would again say, ये जो life है ना, human life, बच्चा पैदा होता है, parents मिठाइयाँ बांटते हैं, celebrations करते हैं, हर साल birthday मनाते हैं, अच्छे स्कूलों में पढ़ाते हैं. They look forward to you being a great boy or a girl. Make the parents proud, make the teachers proud, make your friends circle proud. Don't give up. Giving up should never be considered, because giving up is not an option.
Right.
Be very firm that you have to do it. You are facing a situation. This situation will make you stronger tomorrow to compete in this big bad world. ये भगवान का एक तरीका है आपका इम्तिहान लेने का. इम्तिहान में डिस्टिंक्शन से पास होइए, फेल नहीं होना उसमें. That's my advice.
Absolutely, sir. And your words, they do inspire a lot of youngsters and they do inspire a lot of people around. And we talk about the mental toughness. There was such, I can say, difficult situation that you have also faced during your army career span. And some important incidents happened, like the Pulwama attack. When it happened, You had just joined 15 course at that time. Like it happened on the 14th and you joined it on the 10th of February 2019. So as a general, people had lot of expectations from you. They have a lot of hopes from you, and you were also having a lot of pressure from the seniors, from the nation, from everyone around. And within 100 hours, you and your team avenged the attack and Ghazi was killed. So, how did you manage that mental toughness, the decision making thing during that time?
Thank you, ma'am. Related to the last question, mental toughness comes with experience. Like I said in the previous question also, failures will happen, and moment you overcome fear, the stress, the uncertainty, the fog of war, as we call it, that comes with experience. When I was 3 months in service, second lieutenant, probably I would have taken say 15 minutes to overcome a situation. As and
Right.
as a lieutenant general, I probably will take 15 seconds to overcome that situation, because वो देखी है, वो किया है, उसको handle है, done that, been there.
Mhm.
So Pulwama, like you said, it was a very big incident. We lost 40
Yes.
brave hearts. And as a corps commander who was just 4 days in my chair, the whole nation is looking at you. There were Pakistani trolls who started trolling. There's a very famous Hindi movie dialogue, How is the Josh? And Jaish-e-Mohammed was a terrorist organization, the Pakistani terrorist organization, which had carried out that attack, ID blast. They
Right.
started trolling Indians. How is the Jaish? Meaning Jaish-e-Mohammed. They
Yes.
started trolling India. How is the Jaish? Now, as a commander in Kashmir, whose responsibility was to hit back, I could not have taken months and months to overcome the situation.
Right.
That very evening, when Captain Sandeep Singh, my ADC, he asked me, sir, what will happen now? Ab kya hoga? Pardon my language, I said, we will get the bastards. And as ma'am has said, within 100 hours, we killed those chaps who had carried out Pulwama. Now that is the resolve. Indian Army does not work on the principle of badla lena hai. We become more resolute. हमारा जो सशक्तिकरण है मानसिक और फिजिकल, that goes beyond limits. Whenever we face a situation, then we become more resolute to hit back. My Paltan, like पहले क्वेश्चन में बात हो रही थी कि पल्टन की इज्जत. My Paltan has seen 6-7 times 200 or more casualties, fatal casualties. They did not sit back. इतनी casualty हो गई, अब क्या करेंगे? Next day they hit back and won. That is how a soldier is. Like I said, failure is part of life. These incidents should not happen, should not have happened. But once it has happened and now it is आपकी जिम्मेदारी है, देश आपको देख रहा है. And we got the Josh back to how is the Josh within 100 hours. That is how a good teamwork happens. That is how the team security forces in Kashmir worked. So never give up. Things will go wrong. It's a law of probability. And once things are wrong, that is when you hit back. That's what separates men from the boys.
Right.
So be a soldier, and equally women from the girls. So be a soldier, take it head on. Never give up.
And during one of the press conferences of this incident, when it happened, we got that famous dialogue also, kitne Ghazi aaye, kitne Ghazi gaye. But we want to hear it from your mouth, sir.
कितने गाजी आए, कितने गाजी गए, परवाह नहीं, we are here. Don't worry. This is what was said on 19th of February 2019 when a reporter asked me, like Ghazi ma'am referred to, Ghazi was the commander of the module who had carried out the Pulwama blast.
Right.
Ghazi is a very preferred code word for Pakistani terrorist. This chap was also Pakistani terrorist called Kamran. So when people were, for last 4 days, the media was abuzz. Ghazi ne ye kar diya, Ghazi ne wo kar diya, Ghazi carried out Pulwama, Ghazi attacked India. Now, I don't know हमने कितने Ghazi पहले मारे थे since my captain days. So when this question came, is Ghazi dead? I didn't want to give much credence to that terrorist. And I, as a matter of fact, I said, कितने Ghazi आए, कितने Ghazi गए, परवाह नहीं. Don't worry, we are there. This line became the motto line of the morale of the Indian Defence Forces. in Kashmir, or team security forces in Kashmir. परवाह नहीं है कितने गाजी आए कितने गाजी गए. And this also became the title of my book, which we referred to a little while ago.
Yes. And somewhere, sir, I have read your book. Somewhere, this dialogue has come from your childhood. A transformed version of this dialogue was there in your childhood also. So, subconsciously, it was there. That attitude was there in you, in your personality also. So, can you please share that incident also? Because that is really going to help children understand how they can overcome the bullying and all these things around them in their teen age or in the young adulthood. They can at least they'll be able to and understand how they can handle such kind of a behavior from others.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you again. Like I said, at 3 years of age, when I lost my mother, I came and stayed with my grandmother, my Nani ji, and she was one very strong woman. She brought me up like a lioness brings up a cub. Her thing used to be मार खा के नहीं आना है. मार खा के आएगा तो घर में नहीं घुसने दूंगी. And this incident which ma'am referred to, I was I think 7-8 years old with my cousin, and we were playing marbles with some other boys in the locality. Marbles वो कंचे नहीं होते हैं वो that
Yes,
शीशे वाले.
yes. We have also
And
played.
there was a bully boy Jaggi, little elder to us, and we won the marbles, the game. And I said, okay, let's go home now. I told my cousin. Jaggi won't let us go home. Jaggi said, no, you play. You play, or if you want to go, you leave the marbles behind. You can't take the winnings. Now, this is when my cousin said, Paji, chhado, leave it, let's go. Leave the marbles here only. I said, no. Kitne Jaggi aaye, kitne Jaggi gaye. How can we take this nonsense? And this happened when I was about 8 years old or so. And this kitne Jaggi aaye, kitne Jaggi gaye resounded back on 19th of February 2019 after Pulwama as kitne Ghazi aaye, kitne Ghazi gaye. So I think there's subconscious connect there.
Yeah, this is wonderful, sir, and so inspiring to hear these things, these lines, these words from your mouth. And if we talk about Pulwama, there is one more very important incident that happened, and the incident in which actually you created history. That is the abrogation of Article 370 and 335A. So, first, I would like you to explain what exactly does it mean and how did it make a difference in the life of a common Kashmiri?
Thank you, ma'am. Article 370 and Article 35A, they were abrogated by passing in the parliaments and then signing by the president, and the government abrogated Article 370 and 35A from relevance in Kashmir. I want to tell
Right.
2-3 things about these articles. First and foremost, Article 370 and Article 35A are part of Indian Constitution. They are not part of any other constitution or J&K relevant constitution. They are part of Indian Constitution, and Indian Constitution has been amended 106 times since independence till 5th of August 2019 when Article 370 was abrogated. So Indian Constitution by Act of Parliament, by passing in the Parliament, by assent of the President, Honorable President, can be amended to keep in line with the evolving times, to give better life to the common Indian citizens. So this is not something which happened all of a sudden. This has happened 106 times earlier. Second point I want to tell about Article 370 is it's not specific to a religion. It
Right.
was applicable to all the subjects, all the citizens of the then state of J&K, that is Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. You may be a Hindu, you may be a Muslim, Sikh, Christian, Parsi, Buddhist, Jain. These articles were relevant or applicable to all these religions or people of all the religions. They were administrative acts. They were not religious acts. And third thing, now amplifying the Article 370. Article 370 says the provisions of Indian Constitution will not be applicable in the then state of J&K. J&K state would be governed by something called Ranbir Penal Code. Like I said, 106 amendments to Indian Constitution were not applicable in J&K. because J&K was not being governed by Indian Constitution.
Right.
A very important example I'll give you, Right to Information Act was included in Indian Constitution, very powerful act for citizens, was not applicable. There was a practice in British India time that human excreta, the human, the जो हमारे humans का जो मल जिसको बोलते हैं, that
Yes.
used to be carried by another human on his or her head and taken out of the village and dumped somewhere. There was an amendment to Indian Constitution that such type of squenging, the Anti-Squenging Act, will be punishable by law. This practice has to stop. Now, this human type of a practice, which got included in the Indian Constitution, was not applicable in J&K. So, people of J&K were not getting the benefits of the amendments of Indian Constitution. That is about Article 370. Article 35A. Article 35A says or defines who would be the subject of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Like my family came from Pakistan after partition, came to Punjab. On the day one, we were subjects of Punjab, we were citizens of India, my grandfather and all. Whereas in Jammu and Kashmir, there were people who came from West Pakistan as refugees, they were called. That time there were two Pakistans, presently Bangladesh was East Pakistan. So the people who came from West Pakistan into the state of Jammu and Kashmir, they were called West Pakistan refugees. And because of Article 335A, they were not given the citizenship of the subject. They were not considered subject of Jammu and Kashmir. They continued to be called as West Pakistan refugees till 5th of August 2019. No multinational could come to J&K to do business and job creation, wealth creation because of 35A. And another very important aspect of 35A was any son of a Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian, Buddhist, Jain of J&K, any person's son, if he marries a girl from outside J&K, he continues to be the inheritor of the father's property.
Right.
बाप की जो जायदाद है उसका हकदार रहेगा वो अगर वो किसी जम्मू कश्मीर के बाहर की लड़की से शादी करता है. But if a girl marries outside J&K, she would lose her inheritance of the father's property. So this Act of 35A was not gender neutral. It was discriminatory to the girl gender or the female gender. So these were the anomalies which had to be rectified. And 5th of August 2019, abrogation of Article 370, 35A happened. And I'm very proud to be part of that reform which happened. And the rest is history.
And yes, it created history. And you once said कि इतिहास बदलने के लिए, इतिहास लिखने के लिए इतिहास किसी को तो बदलना पड़ेगा. So please share that also.
Okay, this happened about 40 days prior to 5th of August 2019 when Article 370 was abrogated. Honorable Home Minister Mr. Amit Shah was visiting J&K on 27th of June. That is around 40 days prior to 5th of August. And we had a one-on-one meeting where we discussed all the pros and cons as to if the government does something, what can happen, if the things can go wrong, how will we control Pakistan, internal situation, mutiny in the forces, uprising, civil disobedience, and what have you. All the aspects were discussed, and after about 45 minutes of this one-on-one meeting in a closed door, and when the final thing was कि जिम्मेवारी किसकी है, so I said, okay, nothing will go wrong, sir. And when it was closing in, that is the time I made this statement to the Honorable Home Minister. I said, sir, अगर इतिहास बनाना है, तो अगर इतिहास लिखना है, तो किसी ना किसी को तो इतिहास बनाना पड़ेगा.
Right.
If you want to write history, someone has to create history.
I'm
so happy that part of that history creation on 5th of August 2019, and now we are talking about that history. People are writing about that history. I written about that, some portion of the history in my book. कितने गाजी आए, कितने गाजी गए.
Yeah, and we are really honored and we are really lucky that you are there in front of us who created history. I want to ask that, did you have plan B also in case something would have gone wrong. So did you have plan B? But don't answer this question right now, because there is one more question which has come from Kirti. This is a very basic question, but I want to take up this question. Ma'am has posted this question twice and I missed it out somehow, and I don't want to miss it out again. So she's asking that, is uh, is Tiny your combat name, or is there any story behind it? So please
Thank,
elaborate that also.
thank you, ma'am. I think Tiny is the name which is used maybe 50 times more than my actual name whenever people
Right.
refer to me. And senior, junior, boys, girls, ladies, men, children, everyone, Tiny or General Tiny or Tiny Uncle. So this name was given to me by my battalion, my Paltan, for Rajdeep, or 4th Battalion, the Rajputana Rifles. That battalion had a small little tradition to give a nickname to an officer who gets commissioned into that unit, which is opposite to his personality.
Right.
So I was 6'3",
That's
I was
pretty
named Tiny.
opposite. Quite opposite. Completely
There's
opposite, I
another
must
officer,
say.
I was named Tiny, being 6'3". Other officer, again 6'3". He was called Shorty. Another officer, again 6'3". He was named Mini. And the most meticulous officer, the most well-planned officer, who does everything by the book, he was called Goofy. So
Right.
that unit had this small tradition, and this name sticks. This also becomes your combat name, as you refer to, because in
Okay.
case of any military conversation, you use this name only on the radio set in the transmissions. So
Right.
Tiny became my call sign also, or the combat name, as you say, and also my public name is social name. And the book also
That's
says Lieutenant General KJS Tiny Dhillon.
Tiny Dhillon. That's right. That's right, sir. What an interesting, anecdote that you have shared with us. That this is how the things work there in the army. So besides the, the war situations, we have some nice, funny, humorous moments also, which the soldiers they share with each other. So coming back to the previous question, sir, Plan B. So was there any Plan B also?
Ma'am, Article 370, when you abrogated, so like any military operation, we have options, we have our strategies worked out, and also have the fallback options.
Right.
We have the alternate options. We have plan A, B, C, D. Now, answering a specific question, did we have a plan B? And ma'am, I would, there's a very famous ghazal to answer this question. There's a very famous ghazal. आप वो बात क्यों पूछते हो जो बताने के काबिल नहीं? So, so I think I answered it.
Yeah, absolutely. Very nicely, very smartly, very diplomatically, you answered it. So we take it very gracefully. That's right. And if we talk about your life, sir, if we talk about your tenure in the army, how would you like to summarize it? And we know that your first book is a bestseller. Everyone has read it and they all are in awe of the way you have written it, the way you have expressed everything about the army, about your personal life, about emotions and everything which is there in your life. So we want to know about the next book also, that which is the next book which is coming up. So are you somewhere planning to be a full-time author, or are you going to stick to that only, soldier for life? First, let's summarize your life in the army first. Let's talk about that.
Ma'am,
How would you
life in the
summarize it?
army was full of emotions, full of, aggressiveness, aggression, full of composure, full of compassion, full of sympathy, full of empathy. But any human behavior was there. And it was a mixture, it was a bouquet of flowers where you have people from all across the country. You have people from all the religions which are practiced in the country. And that made it so beautiful. And we travel so much. I've been to practically all the states of India, and I've been to about 38, 39 countries.
Right,
Now,
sir.
this is the experience army life gives you. It makes you a much better human being. then what you came as. I also answered this. I said, we will chisel you, we will mold you, we will
Hmm.
improve you. Army does all that. Ma'am, army
Right.
even teaches you how to, sip a soup a spoon. When you're drinking your spoon, do you put the spoon from this side or the other side? Do you take it up like this or
Right.
you take it up like this so you don't spoil your tie? So these are the things which army teaches, and they're teachings of lifetime. And yes, army makes you a complete human being, full of compassion and full of soldiering. Now, coming to the second book. Firstly, I must answer, I would continue to be a soldier. I would like to be referred to be as a soldier and not as a writer or an author. Writing a book is just to express what I have learned in life. Kitne Ghazi
Right.
Aaye, Kitne Ghazi Gaye is very popular with youngsters because they see the life, boys and girls alike. Because in
Yes.
that book, I try to showcase through my life as to what lies behind the walls of garrison. Like I said, वहाँ पे एक अलग परिवार है. So they
बिल्कुल.
see it's not blindfolded they're joining the army or marrying an army person. Here is a life story which tells you, gives you an idea as to what. And next book is very relevant book. It teaches the military leadership ethos, how they are relevant in the civil life or in the corporate life.
Right.
जो मैंने बात की ना ऑनर कोड डीएनए हम तो यही करते हैं ये हम नहीं करते हैं confidence in body confidence in a leader all these are military leadership ethos and if they can be incorporated in the civil society in your day-to-day life or your corporate functioning it will improve the functioning of that organization that unit that team exponentially. So the name of the second book is Wafadari, Imandari, Zimmedari. These are three pillars of military leadership ethos or military ethos. And how they're relevant in the civil society with examples from personal life, from military life. The book is almost complete. And maybe by mid of the 2025, it should hit the stands. And I'm sure the readers are going to love this book also. It's a very dil se likhi hui kitab hai. And
Right.
I would urge people to read that book because it's a very relevant book for even if you are not in the army, you are not in corporate, you will learn how you can live your life better.
Definitely, it's going to be another bestseller by you, sir. And everyone is going to read it, everyone is going to cherish it and implement a lot of things which are mentioned there in the book in their lives as well. And as you go by your thumb rules, I want you to give a glimpse of those thumb rules to the audience as well. That what are those thumb rules that you always stick to by, and what do you have to say to the audience about that?
Thumb rule in my definition is like you have a thumb, you can't bend it any further. This is the way it is. So there is
Right.
no compromise on a thumb rule. There are no ifs and buts about a thumb rule. There are no half truths, myths, half lies, full truths about a thumb rule. Thumb rule
Mhm.
is under each and every situation, you will behave as per the thumb rule. And just to give you an example of few of the thumb rules or honor code as we call it, respect for the women, non-negotiable. Even within the organization, within the family, within the neighborhood, within the area of where you are operating, respect for women is non-negotiable for a soldier. Second thumb rule is Indian Army does not leave anyone behind, not even their dead. This has been
Right.
amply exemplified in all the wars we have fought. Unlike Pakistan, during Kargil war, they left their dead soldiers on Indian soil, and when Indian Army for, offered the Pakistan Army through the DGMO, Director General Military Operations, to take the mortal remains back, they refused to
Right.
accept the Indian Army gave them a decent burial. Lieutenant General Y.K. Joshi, he also written a very fine book. I will urge the youngsters to read that book, Who Dares Wins. Lieutenant General Y.K. Joshi was officer commanding officer of 13 JACRIF, 13 Jammu Kashmir Rifles in Kargil, Veer Chakra. Vikram Batra's unit, Ye Dil Mange More. All these things he have written in the book, which had just got published. And he, as commanding officer, gave them a decent burial as per the religious traditions of their religion. So thumb rules are something, we just live by them. They're not to reason why, they're but to do and die. So just giving small examples. So thumb rules are something where you don't have to think twice, how do I react?
Right.
It's an honor code, it's a thumb rule. You react in that manner always and every time if a situation like that you ever encounter a situation like that.
Yes, and life becomes so clear, so easy, so precise with all these thumb rules also, when you know that this is what you have to follow and this is what you don't have to follow in life. So that's really nice, sir. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We have lots and lots of questions, sir, which are coming up from the audience, and I would like you to please answer some of the questions later on after the live as well, because we can't take up all the questions during the live, but please do answer these questions afterwards after the live. We'll share the questions with you, sir.
Thank you.
And
And I would also
sir,
like to say, I get a lot of questions, a lot of queries in my direct message or inbox on Insta,
yes,
on Twitter, on LinkedIn, Facebook. All my handle names are Tiny Dhillon, @Tiny Dhillon. So if you go to Insta, you go to Twitter, you go to Facebook, LinkedIn, if you just type Tiny Dhillon, you can interact with me. And I reply all the queries.
yes, that's right. So that's really very kind of you to answer all the queries there. And you get so many hundreds of DMs every day, and still you answer each one of them. So really nice of you, really kind of you, sir, to take out time and answer to the questions of all the civilians who want to know more about you. There is a very light, I can say, a light question, a very personal kind of a question which has come up from the audience. Jyotsna is asking something, that has your love for music evolved during your army career, and does it still play a role after the retirement? They might be seeing a lot of videos and a lot of posts of yours. So they say that you often post ghazals. So who's your favorite singer?
Thank you, ma'am, Jasna ma'am. And yes, music is something which is very close to your heart, very close to your soul, very close to how you think about it. I love Sufi music. I love ghazals. And ma'am, it's not easy to name a particular favorite, but yes, Jagjit Singh, Ghulam Ali, Mehndi Hassan, Talat Aziz, and in Sufi, Stinder Sartaaj is one of my favorites, and of course Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. So these and ghazals जो है ना वो दिल को छूती हैं. And even today, whenever I'm sitting alone, I would put on a nice ghazal, and all my posts on Insta definitely have a music relevant to the post. And mostly
Yes,
they're ghazals. Yes, you're right, ma'am. I agree with you. And music is something which lightens your heart. It lightens your.
right.
जो हमने बात की थी ना पहले stress की.
जी बिल्कुल.
अगर stress में हो ना तो listen to some nice music which you like. Stress
Yes.
नजदीक नहीं आएगा.
Bilkul, bilkul. I completely agree with you, sir. Because for me, also, music plays a very pivotal role in my life. It changes your mood, it changes everything around you. So, coming back to our life, which is on the Indian Army Day, any message that you would like to give to the youngsters, any message as a soldier you would like to give to the audience, please share that with us also.
Thank you, ma'am. And message as a soldier is, it is your army. It is your Indian army. They are your soldiers. I am your soldier. And I would give my life in the line of duty. I would give my life for the nation. I would give my life for each and every citizen. My only request to you is, be a citizen good enough that I should feel like giving my life for you. Be a responsible citizen. Be a good citizen. Normal things, छोटी छोटी बातें हैं. Maintain cleanliness, obey traffic rules, listen to your parents, listen to your
Right.
teachers, love animals, Be honest, be truthful, and fight your way through the challenges. And you are a good citizen. So be a citizen who is worth dying for. And I'm telling you, we will die for you. Just आपको एक अच्छा इंसान बनना है.
Right.
गन मत फैलाइए, ट्रैफिक लाइट जंप मत कीजिए, पेरेंट्स की इज्जत कीजिए, टीचर्स की इज्जत कीजिए. डू योर वर्क विच इज एक्सपेक्टेड ऑफ यू. स्वच्छता का ध्यान दीजिए, पर्सनल हाइजीन, सोशल हाइजीन, लोकल हाइजीन. एंड you yourself will be a better citizen. You yourself will be a better person if you do all these things. Thumb rules, like I said.
Bilkul, absolutely, sir. A soldier is doing so much for our nation, for our country, for us also. एंड ये छोटी छोटी बातें हैं जो शायद उनके बलिदान को और इज्जत देंगी, और हम एज अ सिटीजन उनको, एज अ सिविलियन उनको ऑनर कर सकते हैं और एक ग्रैटिट्यूड शो कर सकते हैं बाय जस्ट डूइंग स्मॉल लिटिल थिंग्स, बाय चेंजिंग आवर लाइफ रूटीन्स, बाय चेंजिंग और इम्प्लीमेंटिंग ऑल दी स्मॉल लिटिल थिंग्स इन आवर लाइव्स. That was such a wonderful message, sir. In such simple words, you have actually told us how to change ourselves completely just by doing small little things. So this was really wonderful, sir. And it was great, great talking to you, listening to you, knowing about the soldier, knowing about not just you as a person, but as a soldier, which is there in you, about a man who carries so many emotions inside. Thank you so much, sir. You have made Indian Army Day special episode of our page really very, very special by gracing it with your presence. And a big salute to all our soldiers, to all their wives, to all their mothers, to all their children, to all their parents who are there behind this force. They are the forces behind the force, as I always say. So, sir, it was really an honor to have you on our show. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving us your time and giving us all the valuable learning lessons that you have given us today. Thank you so much for that, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, and thanks for inviting me on your show. And before we close, I would like to, on the Indian Army Day, I would like to pay my respects. Again, with prayer on my lips, with a pride in my heart, I salute all the soldiers who made the supreme sacrifice in the line of duty and laid down their lives for the nation. I salute them, I salute their families, and I respect what they've done for the nation. And again, ma'am, thank you very much. I think Indian Army Day is very special for every soldier. And when I talk about my life, I'm talking about every soldier's life. It is a soldier which makes the army.
Right.
It is a citizen which makes the nation. So just be a good citizen. We have good soldiers. We are a good nation. We are a progressive nation. We are a great army. And ma'am, thank you very much for giving this opportunity. And thank you to all the viewers. And you can again contact me anytime. And my personal thanks to you for your research work. I think it was a wonderful interaction. I enjoyed it. I loved it. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. And it was completely a teamwork, not an individual's work, as we all say. That एक टीम होती है जो सबको साथ लेके, किसी इंसान को साथ लेके तभी चलती है जब एक टीम उसके पीछे होती है. So behind you there was a team when you were there in the army. Behind us there's a team who is always there supporting us. And a big thank you to all our audience, all the viewers who have joined us today, who have listened to us, and who have, I'm sure they have taken a lot of, lessons along with during this live for the evening, for the rest of their life. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And thank you so much to all our soldiers. And a big salute, a big gratitude to all our soldiers and their families on the Indian Army Day. Congratulations and thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you and Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir.